lifestyle editor at Impakter.com. We're a platform dedicated to informing and empowering the public to live a sustainable lifestyle. So today I'm joined by Agnes Schorer. She's the founder of Agnes Nordenholz. It's a slow luxury label founded in 2015 in Berlin. So Agnes crafts beautiful leather bags and accessories, as well as a small selection of hand-woven shawls and shirts. The brand aims to create products with a soul that resists the fast pace of consumerism today. Welcome, Agnes. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Clara. Thank you for having me.
So your background is really in fashion design. You trained as a dressmaker and you studied fashion design at Vienna. What made you decide to start a brand focused on handbags and leather accessories? Was this a natural progression for you, coming from designing apparel for most of your professional life?
I think it was a natural progression. I mean, we also did bags back then with another label in Berlin, with the first label. Quite amazing bags, actually. And I always had an interest in handbags because I also like to wear handbags by myself, because I think it's, even if you are dressed in a very normal way, you can really do something or express something with your handbag. And maybe also one point is that it's another approach of design, because it's a product, it lasts longer. It's not so much a seasonal changing thing like apparel. And I really like the materials. I'm really attracted to leather. I like leather a lot. So when I started 2015, I really wanted to focus on handbags to do it right, to really learn the craft. In 2016, I did a course in Italy to learn from a really Italian master for leather craft, hand sewing leather. So the wish to learn it the right way and to produce lasting handbags.
So you describe your label as being part of slow luxury. And I find the term slow luxury really interesting, because it's funny that we now have to kind of specify that luxury has to be slow, because in a way it's been co-opted by the fast pace of consumerism. Your own approach to it, and how is that reflected in your company, in your brand?
As you said, the term luxury is very, I think, difficult. But I mean, what is luxury? Luxury is actually something that you don't really need. It's more than just a product that is useful. It's also beautiful, and it's. But what I mean with slow luxury is to produce something that's really made out of the best possible materials, but sustainable materials. It should last. Also from the design aspect, it shouldn't be like a trend or fashion thing. It should be more about style. And of course, I prefer to produce locally. This is my opinion, is the best process. And to really know who's the craftsman behind this product,
Sure. So can you, speaking of craftsmanship, you have one design, one of your early designs was made out of this wool from a very specific sheep that's found in the north of Germany, the Heideschnuck sheep. And it has a beautiful gray gradient. And you said that because of the specific coat, every piece is unique. And I find that that's so beautiful. But how did you become familiar with this breed of sheep? And then how did you familiarize yourself with this little industry around it?
I was always attracted to leather and also to sheep fur, and I did some research because I wanted to find out what kind of different sheep furs are available. And actually, by chance, I found those very rare sheep breed from northern Germany. The story behind the Heideschnucke is very interesting, because they actually live in this Lüneburger Heide, which is a natural reserve area, and they keep the heath clear. So they help actually to preserve this natural reserve area. Actually, it's small farmers who keep the sheep, but the wool is too thick for normal wool industry. So actually, by doing this project, I also want to get awareness for the small farmers, and I think it's a beautiful product.
Yeah, it's amazing. No, it's very, very cool, and like such an interesting story as well. So we have some of your bags here, actually. Maybe you can talk to us a little bit about the design process, what went into coming up with this idea, and then also sourcing the materials.
So in 2015, as you mentioned, I started to design more handbags, and I actually found this production company from Germany near Dresden, which is a very small family business, and they produce bags with this vegetable tan leather. And I thought this is a very, it would be very nice to work with them instead of, sourcing production companies in Italy or I don't know where. So actually, we started to work on this very traditional form, the saddlebag. And I decided, okay, I only wanted to use vegetable tanned leather because I think it's the best leather and the most sustainable leather. And I added this rope handle with the raw brass metal parts and this raw brass closure. Also made out of raw brass without any coating, without this artificial golden coating. So
yeah, you can see it's
pure
got a
nature.
nice, yeah, it's not so super
So it's also
shiny.
getting
It's
a
nice.
patina. So it's like it's alive. The material stays alive, but you can clean it very easily. So, and this is also part of this design process to make something that's lasting, but also repairable, renewable, and it's I think it has a different feeling than this artificial leather, which is covered with a lot of artificial coloring or coating. So
can you talk to us a little bit about vegetable tanning and how that process differs from usual tanning or normal conventional tanning?
So I prefer vegetable tanning. I did also a lot of research about the different tanning processes, and vegetable tan is actually using only from plants, from leaves, or from olive trees to process for the tanning process. So there's no chrome, there are no chemicals. It's actually the most ancient way to do leather, to tan leather. It takes a lot of time, because the chrome tanning is very fast, and this is why they use it, and it's also cheaper, of course. But the leather is it's a more sustainable way to tan leather, and the leather is much more alive and more beautiful.
So speaking of sustainability, with the adoption of the UN 2030 goals and the SDGs in 2015, sustainability is a guiding principle for businesses everywhere. So there are a lot of people jumping on this bandwagon, but it is a learning process. And of course, not everyone gets it right at the first time. And it's an iterative process. So what are some of the key learnings that you yourself have had throughout this journey and onto the path of sustainability?
I think in the beginning it was very difficult. I mean, sustainable is such a wide field of how to do it right, where to start as a designer. I mean, you can't do everything right in the beginning. So it was a lot of research where I want to go. So for me, the decision was I only want to use natural materials like wool and linen and leather. I want to produce locally, as local as possible. I want to really know the people, production and craftsmen that I'm working with, and to produce less, which is also difficult. And also if you produce in Europe, the product will be more expensive. So it's also about education, you have to explain the product. You have to educate or re-educate the customer about quality. I think this is also something that's lost in the last, 20, 30 years, that people really have no clue about quality. And I also think there's a lot of in a discussion about sustainability, a lot of black and white. People say, okay, everything has to be vegan now, and wool is bad because it's not vegan. So this is really, really, really a difficult discussion, and I'm trying to get as much information as possible and to give it to my customers. Why I use wool and leather and linen, for example.
Yeah, that's interesting because these things, I mean, they're still kind of debatable, right? And there's a lot of people discussing, you know, the system, like the environmental imprint of something like wool, for example. So you're right. It's you have to engage in these conversations, otherwise you get left behind. We have also this bag, one of your little clutches here, which is also very beautiful.
Like this is a small version. I think it's also very nice because you see here also the brass is very important.
Yeah, it's lovely. So nice. Thank you so much, Agnes. It was a pleasure speaking to you. You can check out Agnes's bags on eco.impakter.com, where we have other sustainability-focused brands across different niches and needs. We have women's wear, menswear, kids, homeware, pets. Go check it out. We've got something there for everyone. So thank you so much, and until next time.